If moments of bravery inspire you, hit subscribe. You'll enjoy what's coming. There are moments in history when silence speaks louder than gunfire and humility outweighs rank. These moments are rarely recorded in official archives. They survive instead in memory, passed quietly between those who witnessed power, humbled by virtue. The woman sat alone at the far end of the room, spine straight, hands folded, eyes forward. No medals on display, no entourage, no attempt to announce herself. To the untrained eye, she looked like an administrative afterthought, another minor officer assigned to observe, not to matter. Around her, the briefing hall buzzed with arrogance disguised as confidence. Senior officers laughed too loudly. A decorated colonel, famous for his temper and louder reputation, paced near the front, dismissing questions, cutting off subordinates, enjoying the gravity of his authority. He had commanded men in combat, but he had never learned restraint. He noticed her eventually. She had not stood when he entered, not out of disrespect, but because she was already present, already seated by direct order. The colonel's jaw tightened. In his world, obedience was measured in motion. "Is she lost?" he muttered, loud enough to be heard. Laughter followed. No one corrected him. What they did not know, what no one in that room understood, was that she had spent decades mastering a discipline so rare it required no announcement. Her service record was sealed behind layers of classification. Her evaluations were written in the margins of history, not on plaques. She had been ignored before, often. It was a habit she had learned to endure. The colonel stepped closer, irritation building. Authority unchallenged grows careless. He raised his voice, ready to remind her and everyone else who controlled the room. And that was when the doors behind him opened. Boots struck the floor slow, deliberate, unmistakable. The room froze. A 4-star general entered without ceremony, his presence collapsing conversations into stunned silence. Conversations died mid-word. Chairs scraped as officers stood at attention. The colonel spun around, too late. The general did not look at him. Instead, he crossed the room with purpose, stopped directly in front of the seated woman, and raised his hand in a crisp, flawless salute. The sound was sharp, final. The woman stood calmly and returned it. No words, no explanation, just silence, heavy, suffocating, irreversible. Shock rippled through the room like a sudden drop in temperature. Men who had commanded battalions stared as if witnessing a violation of natural law. Salutes were not given lightly. They were earned through service, sacrifice, and trust beyond rank. The colonel's face drained of color. His authority, moments ago unquestioned, collapsed under the weight of realization. He stammered, stepping back, unsure whether to speak or disappear. The general turned at last. "Colonel," he said evenly, his voice carrying no anger, only certainty, "you are addressing one of the most accomplished strategists this command has ever produced." The colonel opened his mouth. Nothing came out. "She has advised operations you will never be cleared to read," the general continued. "She has saved lives you will never know existed, and she did it without demanding recognition." The room remained rigid, breath held. The general's gaze hardened, not with rage, but disappointment. "Rank grants authority," he said, "but character determines worth." He turned back to the woman. "Thank you for your patience," he said quietly. She nodded once. Later, as the room dispersed in stunned silence, the colonel approached her, posture stiff, pride broken into something smaller. "I didn't know," he said. She met his eyes, calm and unburdened. "That was never my responsibility," she replied. Those words lingered longer than any reprimand.
The lesson was immediate and brutal. Power, untempered by respect, is fragile. Skill does not announce itself, and true authority recognizes excellence before it demands obedience. That day, no punishments were issued. None were needed. The colonel's reputation would never recover, not because of demotion, but because every witness now understood the difference between noise and substance.
Years passed. The story spread, not officially, but inevitably. In mess halls, in quiet offices, in whispered conversations between officers who understood that legends are born not from victory alone, but from restraint. They spoke of the woman who never corrected her critics, who never raised her voice, who let arrogance defeat itself. Young officers were told the story as a warning. Senior leaders recalled it as a reminder. Somewhere along the way, it stopped being about rank entirely. It became a lesson. She retired without ceremony. No parade, no public farewell, only a single line in an internal memo acknowledging her service. But her words endured. When asked once why she never corrected those who underestimated her, she answered simply, "Because people reveal themselves far more clearly when they think no one important is watching." That sentence became her legacy. And to this day, whenever a room grows loud with ego, someone remembers the sound of that salute, sharp, precise, and devastatingly quiet.